Good morning. Um, I'm just giving you a quick update on how everything's been going. Um, I'm not even sure I know what to say anymore because as I'm watching everything get torn down in America, as I'm watching my physics and decades of prophecy now playing out before my eyes, I'm sitting back watching the carnage, feeling so much peace and contentment because it's like, see, I told you. So all the people who came after me, judged me, said I was crazy, they can't deny the power of my physics anymore. And I declared myself the queen of time theory because every single thing that I said was coming, every single thing that I said these world leaders and all that were doing, we're going to do, we're going to try and get away with, since the 90s. America being on fire, Washington being on fire, um, people coming after Trump, mutinies within the military, rebellions within government, within the countries, and that it's all starting to play out. And I'm sitting back watching it all, knowing that the next step for me is a brand new life in America. After this, I get a brand new life in America that I get to go back to the start point, Alpha to Omega, but in a whole new direction. It's like in the years that I have been fighting this battle, which kind of technically started around 2016, I have been wielding my sword of truth, sacrificing myself and sacrificing myself to expose the darkness that was hiding in plain sight because I could see it all so clearly. And when they all started coming after me covertly, um, in lots of ways that they didn't think I would be able to see, when they brought all the people in to help them try and make my life as difficult as possible, to um, threaten me and shut me up and silence me and kill me even, um, it just made me more and more powerful. It made me more and more resolute. It made me stronger. And in doing so, it's like it chipped away at the person that I really was, hiding under all that concrete, because I had to break through the glass ceiling. I had to break through the concrete in order to free myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, physics wise. And it's like I'm looking at myself now that I've been reborn. I've stepped into the rebirth stage of my ascension, and I'm like, holy crap, that's who I was this whole time. That this is who I was this whole time. But I had so many people in my life, men trying to control me, family members trying to control me, people around me, students, client, like everyone trying to control me, trying to contain who I was because they didn't want me to see who I really was, because I was a threat to them, because everybody knew that once I woke up and saw with clear eyes, the first thing I was going to do was expose them, which is what I did with my students. I was talking to my sons the other day about, I saw the writing on the wall with my husband well over a year before well, almost 2 years actually, before he actually left. I saw what was coming. And, I had to decide if I wanted to save my marriage or not when he left, but I also had to decide how much I valued myself and my reputation and everything that I was building, which is why I didn't fight to save my marriage, because I didn't want to be associated with a man who had lowered his standards so much that he chose to sacrifice children to sleep with the kind of women who hurt children, who are what I call Epstein associates, rather than save them, rather than help me work on a program that was going to bring life to inmates with creative talents and to get kids off the street and, you know, out of gangs and all that. He chose to join the Epstein class. And I had to decide, is he worth fighting for? And it was like, no, no. I don't want to be associated with anyone that thinks that kind of behavior towards children is acceptable. Sexual deviancy, sexual predation, it's, I've got children to protect and I've got a reputation to uphold. And I tolerated so much with him. I nearly lowered myself to his standards on so many occasions in order to please him. And it's embarrassing for me when I look back on who I was as his wife and how I was working 18-hour days just so that he could get fat in prison, because he was getting fatter and fatter and fatter, gorging off everything I was feeding him, as well as all the other women that were providing for him that he thought I didn't know about, that his friend ended up accidentally exposing. And even when he gaslit me and tried to make it like I was crazy because I was finding out that he had all these women that he was writing to after we got married, and that I still tried to have a life with him. And it's like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that my students played that role as karma. You know, how you talk about karmics, they were my karmics, because while they thought they were getting away with, haha, we're going to tear your life apart, they actually saved me from going down a road that I would have gone down just to please a man who was never faithful, who was never planning on having a decent, moral, ethical life with me. It was all a show. He was my coyote. And it was one of my karmic students' fathers who said in a reading I did with her, you got to follow the star north. And I realized the other day that star north is the Alaska flag, that the grandmother tree dream was the Alaska flag, that everything from when I was 4 that I was dreaming about, that I was seeing, was leading me to Alaska. But I was so certain that I knew what my teacher was saying that I misunderstood the signals. You know, when she said he looks Native American, long black hair, waiting on bended knee, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw that mural on the wall in Juneau. My son opened my eyes. And I was saying to my sons, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't recognize who I was this whole time. I've had to teach myself to even, I've had to learn how to refeed myself, because now I don't have a gluten allergy. I've had 10 years of having this strict diet with a gluten allergy. And now that I don't have a gluten allergy and I can eat what I want, I've forgotten how to eat. And I've had to slowly train myself into relearning how to eat proper food again. And it's been really weird. I said to my son, I feel like I'm looking at this whole new world and a whole new body and a whole new mind and a whole new self in a brand new place, in a brand new space, and I'm having to navigate it all from scratch like I've never been here before. I've never gotten so far in my ascension that I've reached the ninth element, which is rebirth. It's like I died as Debbie and reincarnated as Debbie. There's, there's I mean, I suppose technically it's not ninth element. I think technically it's eighth element. You know, I thought I'd had new beginnings in that before, but never on this level. Eighth element is birth. Ninth element is rebirth, reincarnation. But I can't explain it. I know who I am. I know who I was. I know what I came from. It's all there, locked in my cells. Well, no, not locked in my cells. I've gone through a total cell regeneration and a DNA upgrade. And everything I was putting off has now been finished. When I get to Alaska, I've got projects sitting there ready to go to hand my games company, to hand my staff at the games company, to hand my staff at my movie production company, to hand my staff at my animation studio. Like it's all there finished, ready to go. I've been working on my bakery range, my food range, and I'm loving every minute of it, even though I'm in absolute agony. My scars are killing me. I made those chicken pies my son said last night. They're just like the pies from Scotland, which is a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment. And then I was brave and had a go at the garlic and herb sauce. I made two different types, and I'm over the moon with the results. So when I take them to my food business partner, my boss, because I can't sell anything that he doesn't agree to, when I take them to him for him to try with some more sausage rolls, if he likes them, then they will be sold at all my food establishments. It will be the sauce that we use. Sorry, I'm just having a sip. Um, and I'm seeing everything so clearly now as I'm watching everything fall apart for people like Trump and Musk and unfortunately the king. I'm there battering at him every day, trying to wake him up, trying to wake him up, trying to wake him up. He's stepping further and further and further and further to the edge of the abyss, and I'm trying to pull him back to stop him. Um, as I'm watching everything fall apart and play out exactly how I said it would, I'm sitting here in a place of peace and contentment because I know what the future holds. I know what's coming, and I'm not afraid like everybody else. I'm not falling for the threats and the fear mongering because I know what's coming. And while they're trying to distract everyone with this, oh my God, the Russians are coming and we need to prepare and stock up and blah, 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 sort of bollocks, which is everything I said they would do anyway, um, I'm seeing beyond the veil to a place where America turns into a country it's never been before, where they slowly win the respect of the world back because of how they decide to deal with Donald Trump and his administration and Elon Musk and, you know, Peter Thiel and Bill Gates, that like they get a surge of bravery out of nowhere. They're getting a surge of bravery out of nowhere that can only be described as divine power, divine guidance. And they are slowly starting to stand up and let Donald Trump know, we're coming for you. We are coming for you. And even his military are now saying, we're not helping, like you're on your own, which is everything I said in my the cleansing prophecy. And it's slowly starting to build momentum, and it's going to come out of nowhere like a bolt of lightning. His downfall, like I swear, what's coming for him is going to be one day he's president, the next day he's not. And people are going to be like, whoa. But America has to understand that this needed to happen because you were complacent. We're complacent with our elections. We're complacent with who we let run for these positions of power because we assume that the words that come out of their mouths are the truth when they're not. And in America, it's not illegal, unlike here in the UK, where they promise things during their election campaign and then don't deliver. It's illegal here in the UK. Everything Starmer did was illegal. Everything Burnham's doing is illegal. He's not even legally Prime Minister. He's the Mayor of Greater Manchester. And mayors legally, they have to resign from their job and run for MP in order to run for Prime Minister. So how they got him into power is nothing short of corruption, which is so Labour, right? But they need this war with Russia and Iran because they've stolen all the money from the people of the United Kingdom and America, and the only way they can make it back is by starting wars. So they can sell off the military contracts and stuff. But the military aren't playing. They're refusing to fight for pedophiles and pedophile protectors. And it's all starting to come out. And the rage and the people finally having no tolerance for the BS. It's all starting to come out. And while I'm sitting watching everything get set on fire and be torn down, I'm sitting here in absolute peace and contentment because I know what's on the other side. And for America, it's going to be a whole new rebirth. You get to be reborn, America. There's going to be millions upon millions of jobs that get created. You'll become a powerhouse in the car industry again with oil and natural resources and all that. You'll become a powerhouse because you finally did the right thing. Homes will go up all over the country. Jobs created. People won't be allowed to take the piss out of the SNAP and EBT and that, but for the people that need the help, it will be there because there'll be an overflow of abundance. Detroit. Now, this is something that I said when I was doing my radio show in Chicago. When I was in Michigan, I got taken to Detroit. And one, I absolutely fell in love with the people there. The people were so nice and friendly. I was taken to downtown Detroit. And I got marriage proposals from all these African American men, and people were just fascinated to learn about me and where I came from. And I was getting stopped everywhere I went. As soon as they heard my accent, they wanted to know. And I felt so safe. Me and my former student, Alan, we were told, don't go down there. Two white girls, going to downtown Detroit, it's not safe, blah, blah, blah. But we went anyway because I said to Alan, nothing's going to happen with me there. I'm protected. Nothing's going to happen. And we went there and oh my God, I'm so glad I did because I got to see what's coming for Detroit. We went to, Motor City. We went to the car museum. I got to talk to all these incredible people, meet all these incredible people. Went to Planet Hollywood where the waiter was having like a major flirt on and stuff like that. And it was heartbreaking at the same time because I saw how much these beautiful buildings and houses were decaying because of the car industry shutting down. And I said to Alan, when this is all over in the new world, Detroit, the car factories and that open up again, and it will create more jobs, and they'll open up the mines, and they'll open up the gas, and they'll be able to live off the wealth of the land, which is how it's supposed to be. You take your resources first, and then you sell the rest off. And I just saw where there was decay, there was rebirth, and all the factories like the paper mills and textile factories and all of that opening up again, and the abundance spreading because everyone was finally on the same page. And now I understand it because it's like everyone being on the same pages. We can't let what we just let happen. We cannot let Trump and his administration, regardless of whether they're Democratic or Republic, ever happen again. And what's starting to happen is what I said, is that they're going to start bringing in laws and bring in things in the Constitution that require things like background checks on anyone running for president. Same with, running for prime minister. They'll do background checks, thorough background checks, and nobody will be allowed to run for the position of leader again if they have any black mark on their name. If there's so much as like a published controversy from like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they won't be allowed to run. There'll be like a morality clause, an honesty clause when it comes to election campaigns in America that will spread because America's the blueprint. Everybody's going to see how America did it, and then they will follow suit and do it in their countries as well. So this is giving America the chance to make up for what they allowed their president to do to the rest of the world by leading by example, and in return, the blessings come. Whether you believe in God or not, the blessings will come because you will have paid off your karmic debt for all the hundreds of years that America and their governments have been getting away with systematically destroying the British monarchy and the monarchies of Europe, funding World War I and World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Iran, Russia, all of it. Um, so the 300 and something million Americans are paying off the karmic debt of a couple of centuries of corrupt presidents. You have to stop worshipping the wrong people. You have to stop revering the wrong people in history. None of your presidents were good people. None of your presidents had the best interests of your country at heart when they were working to destroy um, other countries' monarchies. America's problem is they interfered in foreign affairs that was none of their business, and in doing so, they poisoned the rest of the world. And now it's up to the people to fix it. And by doing so, a whole lot of sweeping changes will come about within American politics that has an effect on the rest of the world that opens up the doors to blessings. You will prosper like never before. When I thought Trump was the good guy, I said, it's not make America great again, it's make America better. Because America's never really been great. It never had the chance to show the world what they could be because they had presidents who were hell bent on starting wars with people in other countries that had nothing to do with them, simply because they had a problem with the British monarchy. It all started with Elizabeth I after her death, after they killed her. So America has a lot of karmic debt to pay off, and they will clear it when Trump is removed from power, when his administration is removed, because then what's going to happen is you're going to hold all your politicians accountable. And it's going to take, like I call them the conglomerate, to um, build everything back up and, for lack of a better word, reconstitute the powers of the American people and who governs them. And then you're going to show the rest of the world how it's done. And then it'll take off like wildfire. And I'm watching it happen. When it's getting to the point where Americans are having to apologize to the rest of the world for their president, you know that you've reached the end game. And he's lost his mind. He has 100% lost his mind, and it's hilarious. And I'm sitting here watching it all, and I feel like I'm in the aeroplane with my family getting ready to land in Anchorage, and I'm flying over America watching all the fires get started and the tearing down of his regime. And it's beautiful because I know what's coming afterwards, and it brings life back to cities like Detroit. It brings Chicago back to life. It brings Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and that back to life. It brings all these places that were left to go to rack and ruin back to life in ways that they've never seen before. And it won't be because they embrace building electric cars and all that bollocks, because we go back to diesel and petrol, because it's better for the planet. Um, we see a resurgence of things that most of the younger generation don't even know anything about, like toys being made properly again, everything being homegrown, American made, which I'm going to be a part of. Thankfully, I get to be a part of that movement because everything I make is going to be American made, creates jobs, especially my toys and that. So, my toys, my clothes, everything's going to be American made. And American grown, because you have to look after yourself first before you start feeding into other countries' bank accounts. So I'm working on my food because I want to open my bakeries, Mama Bear Kitchen Cafe and Bakeries. I want to open them pretty quickly. Open the first one in Anchorage and then open the second one in Juneau. Um, and then, yeah, go from there. While I'm getting games made and movies made and animations made and all of that, I can open my bakery. And I'm sitting here working on my recipes and my food for my supernatural food and beverage industry, and so my supernatural food and beverage range for my company, my food company. And I'm kind of just keeping myself busy because I don't really have anything to do because I've finished all the most important projects that needed to be finished. So I'm sitting here revisiting other things, like I've got other scripts that I could be working on, other stories that I could be working on, like The Curse of the Howling Moon, my werewolf movie. I was talking to my son's friend and he was showing me some of his wrestling videos and I was watching him And I was, because I've been tearing all my movies and story ideas and that down, changing names, changing the endings. I've been tearing it all down and rebuilding it bit by bit. And I had originally said with my werewolf movie that I wanted him to be in his 20s, but remember Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox? He was a teenager, and I actually said to my son's friend, "You would be fantastic to play the role of my werewolf, to be the protagonist in my werewolf movie." I mean, I was mostly joking, but he inspired me, and I thought, because it is a coming of age story where he turns to an age where it's time he's expected to take his position as the werewolf, as the guardian of the dead, and all of that sort of thing. Why not make him a teenager? Because it would be a metaphor for stepping into adulthood. And I was watching him, and I thought, whoever does play the role of my werewolf, I think he needs to be something like a wrestler. Because watching my boy's friend flipping around and doing all the kind of movements and that he was doing during his wrestling matches, I was seeing, I was literally seeing the movie playing out in my head, and I thought, that's who I want to play my werewolf. He needs to be a wrestler. He needs to be someone that can, do the kind of scenes. Because remember, I said he needs to be someone who's quite nimble and physically active and able to get up and move around and all of that because of the kinds of scenes that I'd written, especially when he turns from man to wolf. He's going to need to be quite agile and nimble. And when I was watching my friend's wrestling videos, I thought, that's what I want. He's what I want. I want someone just like him to play the role of my werewolf. And there's no better suited role for a teenager to play than a werewolf because of the amount of physical activity. But I think if he's a wrestler, it's perfect. So then I thought, well, I've got my Frankenstein movie that I could be writing, my mummy movie, my vampire one's kind of pretty much already done. My, my Igor rock opera. Oh, speaking of which, did you see Tim Curry died? He died. First we lost Dolly, and now we've lost Tim. I adored Tim Curry. Absolutely adored him. The Rocky Horror Picture Show was one of the musicals I grew up on. It's one of the greatest musicals of all time. And yeah, so my Igor movie is going to be a rock opera. I've got my opera, I've got my rock apocalypse, and then I'm going to have a rock opera, and it's going to be my Igor movie. So I'm thinking I could sit down and write that while I'm waiting for the door to open and, well, for the plane to land and for us to get to Alaska. I've got so many things that I can work on, but I'm just savouring the peace that has come out of all my years of hard work and sacrifice and fighting for justice for these victims and fighting for America to let them know that regardless of everything that has happened to me, I've still got your back. Regardless of everything Americans and their presidents and their billionaires and that have done to me, I've still got the back of the American people. I've still got your back. I'm still fighting for you. And I can see what's coming and it's beautiful. Just like in my Let the Sunshine dream, when I climbed to the top of that mountain and I said, Omicron's going to save us. I understand what all of that means now. And in that speech, I was talking about, factories opening up and kids having jobs where they're mowing lawns and babysitting again and paper routes and milk routes. And we go back to the old ways of doing things, but in a brand new way. We bring back tradition in a modern world in a brand new way. And I'm so proud that I get to be a part of that new movement for America because I've helped forge it. So I'm sitting here in my little bubble of peace while all the chaos is happening around me, all the storms are coming in, happening around me that are all part of the prophecy from the 90s that I said was coming, where all the darkness gets swept away so that the new can be reborn. And I'm watching it play out in real life, and it's the most surreal feeling as I've stepped into my rebirth, as I've been born again, so to speak, in a way that I know I can never ever go back to who or what I was before. I can never go back to any of the people or any of the mindsets or behaviors. Like, there's no going back now. The door is closed. If I tried to turn around and go back, I'd just hit a brick wall. There's nowhere for me to go but forward. Like, I have no other choice but to move forward because everything has died behind me. Everything has been closed off and shut down behind me. But the most important thing isn't just what I know is ahead of me, it's what I know that is around me. And the support that I have from the people around me has given me the strength and the courage to keep fighting every day, to get up every day and keep pushing it forward, because they've given me every reason to keep wanting to push everything forward. Whereas most people would have given up a few cycles ago, the people that have stood by my side and stand by my side right now are giving me every reason to keep pushing it forward, because when my plane lands and I get to the other side, they're there waiting for me. They're coming with me. They're there with me. They're on the other side. I get to have the life that I always wanted with the kind of people that I've always wanted to be around, waiting for me on the other side, because the strong survived the war that I had to fight. The loyal survived the war that I had to fight. Where things got torn apart before, they're now being sewn up back together. And everyone's been stepping forward to let me know I'm in this with you. And it's brought me comfort and it's brought me peace to know that um, I'm not going to be by myself when I get to the other side. Because even when I was looking at moving to Switzerland, remember I kept saying, like, I can do this by myself. I can get there and start a life by myself, not knowing anyone. I can do this, but I don't need to now. Because not only am I not going to Switzerland, and I'm going back to the start point, it's like what killed me in trying to get to America has rebirthed me in getting to America. In order for me to get to America, the part of me that was wanting to get to America had to die first, Alpha to Omega style. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. That's where I am in my stage of ascension, and I'm just about to land. I feel like I'm in the plane flying over with my family in the seats beside me, and I'm getting ready to land. And our plane was held together by staples and duct tape and string, because my God, it's been one hell of a battle for every single one of us to get to this point. But we're about to land, and all I see is lush green mountains and nature and structure and a dream come true for every single one of us involved. And I did it all myself. I did it. Me did it. when everybody wanted me to fail, when everybody wanted me to die, when everybody wanted me to fall into depression and have mental health issues and be locked up and fight for my freedom and stuff like that, um, I just brushed it all off. Everything that was being said about me, everything that was being done to me, I just brushed it all off and stood back up and kept walking because of my sheer determination to prove every single one of those bastards wrong. Nobody's going to tell me that being Māori is a mental health illness. Is a mental illness. Nobody's going to tell me that my physics is bullshit when I've proven every single one of them who judged me wrong. And now even the king can't deny it. Now even presidents and prime ministers can't deny my power. Um, because they're suffering as a consequence of trying to convince everybody else that there was something wrong with me or that I was a bad person. They're now paying the price because when you come up against me, you come up against God and you come up against my ancestors. And there's more of us than there are of them. And I've come out of this battle victorious. And even though I haven't gotten justice yet, I can see from the way people are treating me, I can see from the way that my life has changed quite dramatically in the course of the last couple of weeks, like quite dramatically. It's kind of left me in a bit of a whirlwind how fast everything has started changing for me over the course of the last couple of weeks. It's evident that I'm now on the right track. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I've hit my mark. I've found the end point. My battle is coming to an end, and now I just need news of it. And then when that money hits my bank, I mean, depending on what comes first, Trump's downfall or my money hitting the bank. But if the money hits my bank before he's removed, I actually thought that what I might do, other than us all going on a trip around the UK for my boys and I to say goodbye to the UK, I thought I might take the boys to Switzerland and my sister, because we all want to go there anyway. And then if they want Japan, because we want to go to Japan as well. So I thought I might do a wee trip and take them to Switzerland and take them to Japan and Italy, just have like a wee holiday while we're waiting for Trump to be removed. But if he's removed at the time I get the money or before I get the money or whatever, because his downfall and my lawsuit and all of that, it's all tied in together, especially because he stole my movie, The Dear Satan Clause and everything. He sent all those people after me. So part of my justice in getting this money is because of his downfall as president. So it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? He's the chicken because he is a chicken. He's a coward. And the egg is the reward from my bounty. I mean, do you have any idea what you can do with an egg? So, uh, but yeah, if by the time I get money and we've put everything in storage and I've got my sister over and we're doing our tour, if he's still not gone by the time I'm applying for visas and, well, I mean, I can't, he's not going to let me apply for a visa. See, because that's the thing. That's what I was saying last night to a friend. Had I have gotten to America before, when I wanted to, he would have had me deported by now because he's deporting all the immigrants. So I would have gone there and started all of that up, and then he would have deported me and taken it all from me. He would have deported my ex as well because he's an illegal immigrant. So I would have been planting on infertile soil because Trump was never ever going to let anything I grew blossom. So he's been removed so that everything I grow will not only blossom, but it will feed the American people, jobs, taxes, um, careers, professions, reigniting creativity, taking over Disney, dominating the games industry, bringing new things to TV and entertainment, putting on shows and concerts and all that, like the likes of which people have never seen before. Making America better, MAB. Seagulls. The storm's coming in. You only hear seagulls when a storm's coming in from across the water. If you see seagulls inland, it means a storm's coming off the water, which is exactly what I've been saying. I'm watching all these storms brewing, and it's fantastic because it doesn't matter what they threaten us with, they don't win. Watching them all lose their minds, watching them all be exposed for the deviants and thugs that they are, has been just poetic justice in a way that I can't even put into words because it's like everything I said they were, everything I said they were planning, from minute details to, from the macro to the micro, from the smallest detail to the biggest detail, is all starting to play out. I'm watching it all, and it's beautiful. It's poetic justice in divine form. It's like my eagle and buffalo dream. I've handed the feathers back to the eagle, and we're stepping into the light with the handful of people that I've chosen to, that have proven themselves worthy of coming forward with me into a life of abundance. And my boys are going to want for nothing, and my sister's going to want for nothing. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, what project do I want to work on next? I've got so many movies that I could be sitting working on. TV episodes for the time jumping detective. I could be working on my soap opera. Like, I've got so many projects I could be working on. But just right now, just this very minute, I'm taking a break, not only because I'm in pain because of my scars, but because I'm savouring the moment of my rebirth. It's like in Māoridom, when someone dies, right, when someone's dying, they're surrounded by their whānau and their community, their iwi. And we basically sit with them and hold their hand and walk them to the other side. But when it all first kicks off, you go through the stages of grief and you're trying to be strong and hold your head up for the sake of the person that's dying, because they're coming to terms with the end of their life. They're saying their goodbyes to people in their own special way. They're remembering things. They're wanting to make you remember them in ways that you'll never forget them after they're gone. And we sit with them, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they've always got people by their side. We put mattresses down in their room, and we give them whatever they want. We reminisce, we cry in private. We hold our head up high, and we hold their hand until they take their last breath. And then we spend a year, well, 3 days with their tangi, helping them get used to the transition. And then we spend a year allowing ourselves to grieve and let go, so that when we unveil their headstone, it's like symbolic of being ready to start again without them, knowing that whoever they've become, if they haven't just been birthed, they're about to be born, because pregnancies are around about 9 months. And so when we unveil the headstone, it's like the death of who they were, knowing they've been born into someone completely new. They're a whole new person and a whole new life. Sometimes they're reborn into back into their own family, because we believe that if anyone's pregnant at the time when someone in their family dies, or anyone falls pregnant after someone dies, they're coming back, they're being reborn as that child, right? So that's how I feel. I've been in that period of mourning where I've had to make my peace with everyone and everything I've had to let go of, so that I could die and come back again. Making peace with the loss, making peace with the transition, so that I could. It's like watching myself from a third person. I've watched myself go through my ascension and my death and rebirth, and I've mourned who I was and who I had to let go of, and I've mourned um, the people and the things that I was so certain about. Like, I've mourned all of it and allowed myself that time to transition in peace, and now I've come out the other side. My headstone has been unveiled, and I've let go, and in letting go, I've risen. I've risen up, and now I'm looking down over everything, and all I can see is the landscape of Alaska. All I can see is my movie theatre. All I can see is my stage, my shops, my family, my businesses, the kids, movies being made, video games being. That's all I can see. But in order to be reborn, I had to die. And so, especially the last 4 years, has been that process of letting it all go. And, and having to come up against the judges and the cops and the government and everyone threatening me and being poisoned and, being slandered and, people being sent to try and trap me and trick me and, the bait and, the threats to my bank account and threats with deportation, everything I've been up against since Chris did what he did in June of 2022 has been the equivalent of me being in labour, giving birth to myself. Because, labour's painful, and it's hard for the baby as much as what it is for the mother. And so that was my labour. I was in labour giving birth to my new self. And my spirit having to break away from the Debbie that I was before. And I've just celebrated my 4th anniversary of my becoming a reverend. I got an email from the organisation where I got my ordination from when I was locked up, saying happy 4th anniversary. Do you want a stole? And I'm kind of like, yeah, when I get to America, because I'm licensed in all 50 states, and putting on weddings and that is all going to be part of my business. I'll invite people to come and have weddings at the foundation, which is one of the reasons why I want to design the grounds the way that I do, to give them a option of places to get married, depending on their what they want. If they want something imaginative, if they want something a bit creative, or if they want something romantic, we're going to have it all there for them, and then I can perform their weddings. And when I do that, I'll get my stole. So I'll be able to wear, like, I can get a dog's collar as well if I want, but I hate things around my neck. So I'll just have like a robe and a stole. And then I'll be able to perform weddings in Alaska. People will be able to come far and wide. Remember, I was saying, we're going to help people put on, like, do proposals, and we're going to help put on stag do's and hens weekends and all of that, because weddings is going to be a big part of, my revenue. So we're going to invite people from all over America and all over the world to come and have their weddings. And with my dating app, if they meet and marry off my dating app, we'll pay for them to either have their honeymoon at our hotel, at my hotel. I say our because I mean my boys and I, because it's their business too. They inherit it. So yeah, they can either have their honeymoon at our hotel, or we will put on a wedding of up to 30 guests for them for free, like put on the catering. And if they meet and marry off my dating app, Spellbound. So, and then I get to perform the weddings, and it gets the kids involved in helping set up marriage proposals, and oh, look, it's all there. I've got it all planned. I can even do christenings and funerals as well. And because I'm going to have a cemetery, a graveyard, sorry, by my School of Alchemy and all of that, I can do the funerals for the veterans too that sign up to the George Callahan Veterans Trust. I can do christenings. So yeah, it's it's all coming together and it's happened so fast. I remember my teacher saying that it was going to feel like it just happens overnight. Like you're going to go to bed one night one way and you're going to wake up the next morning and everything's changed. Well, that's happening. It happened when my boys came back into my life. It kick-started the rebirth. And it's like where we were torn apart before, we've come back together, but we've come back together with peace and calm, and now my sons are one of the huge driving forces. Like, because I had stopped baking and cooking because I had no one to taste test any of my food. So for a year, I put down my baking tools, and now I made chicken pies, and my son said they like the ones in Scotland, and he said my sauce was gorgeous. And so now it's like, oh my god, I want to hurry up and like take these dipping sauces, the garlic and herb, because like um, one of the things that Gabriel and I were working on before my ex did what he did was a children's menu for our little, for our pub grub, for the Alchemist Tavern um, pub and grub. Hang on, sorry, I was burping. I didn't want to do it loud. Um, and so we worked on a kids menu, and one of the things that my boys love are my homemade chicken nuggets and goujons. And I want to be able to do the same thing with fish. So do like fish goujons, and then I can sell them in my general store, um, frozen, so that you can take them home and cook them up. Um, and I was saying to him yesterday that the sauce that he asked me to make, to have a go at making, will be perfect for my chicken nuggets and our wedges and our chips. And I said, like, we'll make it up fresh every day. We'll be able to put it, sell it, sell little bowls of it, like with my circus burgers, with my circus themed uh, burger house, with our wedges and chips and all that. We can serve up the bowls of my garlic and herb dipping sauce. Um, you could even like use it for bruschetta, for putting your crisps, your chippies, your chips. Um, 1,001 different uses for this sauce. You could smear it on your chicken when you put it under the grill. You could put it on jacket potatoes. You could put it in your potatoes to give you potatoes when you mash it. Like there's 1,001 things you can do with this dipping sauce, and I would never have been brave enough to make them if my son hadn't have encouraged me. And because I now have the support and the encouragement, it's pushing me forward. And I've broken through the concrete, and out the other side is this little sprout that's now slowly turning into an oak tree. It's now turning into a farm full of crops and a garden full of vegetables and herbs, and an orchard full of fruit, just like in Lucian's Dragon. I talk about the orchards and the fields full of food in that, in Lucian's Dragon. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm with exactly who I'm meant to be with. I'm going exactly where I'm meant to go. I'm forward focused now. The laws of convex linear reversion works both ways. And if I'm the arrow then I'm flying through the air and I've hit my target. And through my painful birth from 2022 until now, I've been born into a whole new world as a whole new person, into a whole new life that a couple of weeks ago I didn't even know was there. But I did it. I went through it. I did it. I fought the battle, and now I'm coming out the other side victorious, and finding out I've got justice, finding out that Chris and that have been held accountable, finding out that I've won my case against the NHS and the West Yorkshire Police and all of them, finding out that I've won, like that's just the last little bit of detail. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I did it all on my own without any help from any man that I thought I needed help from. But at the same time, when I do meet the man of my dreams, when I do meet the Moon King, and I'm standing there looking at him face to face, I'm going to know without a shadow of a doubt that he's the one that I've been fighting to get to since I was born the first time in 1972. Going back to the beginning, where I'm with the man of my dreams, where he makes me feel safe, where he's my writing partner, my business partner, my second in command, my general, my king, my the other half of me. Even if he's not in that field of work, I know that he's going to be like my biggest fan. My sister's my biggest fan at the moment, but like he believes in what I'm doing so much that he wants to be a part of what I'm creating, that he becomes a part of what I'm creating, like willingly, and he's proud of me. But I think that his world is my world too. I think I think he's in the creative world or the artistic world or the, you know, I think our worlds are the same. We just need to blend the two together. And once we blend the two together, there's an explosion and expansion, the likes of which him and I by ourselves could never have imagined. We're two powerhouses coming together to create a power empire based on what I've created and his ability to get the job done. Because I think he's going to have the know how and the contacts to help me bring it all to life, even if it's just that he knows the right estate agents and the right employees and, you know, knows how to fill out all the paperwork to get businesses registered and, you know, that sort of thing. All the things Martin was supposed to do, all the things I was putting him through college for, working 18 hours a day to feed his fat face, putting him through college. He was supposed to do that. He was supposed to run the business side, fill out the paperwork, get the right accountants, get the right lawyers in, get the businesses registered, get my food and products and everything registered and licensed and trademarked. And that was supposed to be him. But he ended up choosing a child groomer and a pedophile. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because otherwise my boys and I would be in um, state housing, living on SNAP benefits and EBT, getting deported by Trump. So, you know, small blessings, eh? Blessing in disguise. So I'm not sorry any of it happened, because now I get to go to a man who actually knows what he's doing, who would never dream of disrespecting me and my children, who knows what he's been offered to be a part of, and he's grateful for it. But in the same respect, he's also got things that he's bringing to the table that helps me in ways that he does the things I don't want to do. Like, with my construction, Martin was going to help build my construction company and find me because all his friends work in construction. So we were going to start a construction company and, get his friends to come and work with us. I've got letters where he talked about getting them to help build my dream house and everything. Well, his role is getting replaced by somebody worthy, by someone who's earned it, by someone who understands and appreciates the role that he's been offered when he is offered the crown to put on his head to be the king of my empire. But he's bringing things to the table as well. It's not that he's inheriting, a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry. He's bringing things to the table as well that will help me as well, side by side, helping each other to become one. He's going to do all the things as a man that a man should be doing when he's a part of his wife's business empire that the wife doesn't want to do. Because I don't want to have to deal with any of that. I just want to create and write and direct and do silly voices and run around with the kids, putting all my ideas, bringing them to life, and let him do all the boring man stuff, like finding the right security staff and sorting out the construction stuff. And yeah, I can't wait to find someone that I can sit and say, like, so I've come up with this thing. What do you reckon? So I've come up with this product. Have a taste and tell me what you think. So do you think I should change that characters this to that? I've come up with an idea for a video game. What do you reckon? Well, the video games is actually my boys. I'd go to my boys unless he's got a background in video games. I'd only go to my boys for that. But for the storylines and stuff, I'm pretty sure he does photography too. I'm pretty sure he knows how to take photos because I think he's going to teach Thomas and I. Because I've had dreams where him and I sit by the river and he's teaching me how to take photos of like nature. Because obviously I want to take photos for my conservation program, and I'm pretty sure he's a photographer, or yeah. And Thomas is a phenomenal photographer. He gets that off his dad. Thomas took the photo for the cover of my book, My Long Road to Ascension. He's an incredible photographer. So yeah, I've had dreams where Eagle is teaching me how to take photos of the river and like lakes and the forest and the mountains and all of that. So anyway, so that's what I've been up to. I'm going to have my breakfast now because I'm starving to death, and then yeah, I'm going to rest my tummy for a bit. I don't know when I'm meeting Gabriel to take in his sausage rolls and this dip, but man, if he was awake, I'd be doing it now because I'm so excited for him to taste these dips. I'm going to make up a big bowl of it myself, and then I'm going to make chicken nuggets for my dinner, and then I'm going to try the dip myself because when I did the taste test, oh my god. So all my eateries where we sell dips, where we offer dips, my garlic and herb dip will be on the menu as well as my ketchup. So now I need to work on a mustard sauce and a tartar sauce. I'll work on the tartar sauce next. We call it tartare sauce where I'm from. It's tartar here, but we call it tartare. Right, so that's my update. All my bows have been tied. Now I'm just sitting waiting. So I am here, I'm still alive. I promise you I'd give you updates every few days. Now I'm just deciding, do I want to work on another movie, or what do I want to do? I've got so many things like Mother Knows Best, my slasher movie, although that's kind of pretty much already sorted. I could work on my Poisonous Frog horror, the frog, golden Amazonian rainforest frog that's poisonous. I could work on that. I could work on When the Band Plays, which is our slapstick comedy, paying homage to Mel Brooks. I've got so many things I could be working on, but just right now, I'm putting the finishing touches on some of my food products and savoring this rebirth, teaching myself to eat again, just taking it all in. I feel like I'm being having an out of body experience where I've died and my spirit's leaving my body, and I can see exactly where I'm about to be reborn, and I'm in the in between, which is all my hotel and motel dreams. That's what they're about, being in the in between. Well, I'm literally in the in between, and I'm about to come out the other side in Alaska to the land of my matriarchal ancestors, going back home. I'm being reborn into ancient ancestral lands, and I'm looking down at my dead body. So, yeah, so you've spent all these years from my first video until my last, this one, watching me go through my ascension and my labour and my death and my rebirth. You've watched it all, and that is what an ascension is, and that is why many are called but few are chosen, because there aren't too many people on this planet who are brave enough or strong enough to go through what I just went through from my first video on this channel up until now. Most people would never withstand what I've just come out of. They're not brave enough, they're not strong enough, they have no faith. It's too hard. Most people give up and walk away, or they break down and disintegrate and dissolve into atomic nothingness, or they end up in hell or the underworld and they stay there. They're denied a rebirth. That's why ascensions can only come from God, the atom. When you look at what an atom goes through, when it's restructuring, how it has to tear itself apart in order to rebuild. That's what an ascension is. And I don't know too many other people on this planet that have survived them and come out better people because of it. I went first. I am the arrow, and I've hit my mark. I'm flying through the air, and I'm about to hit the bullseye in Anchorage, and there's no other place I want to be, because it's the one place in the world where everyone who's coming with me wants to be as well. So just get ready, America, because you're about to lose your president and you get to wipe the slate clean and start again. And he takes a lot of people down with him. People who thought they were getting away with murder and genocide and war crimes and theft and treason and high treason and petty treason. Um, it's all getting torn down. And once he's gone, that's when we get there. And once I get there, we're going to have so much fun. And I will guide you every step of the way. I'll have my radio show. So and like with the Art of Creation, my animated series, anything I see coming, I'll let you know. Just like I've been doing for all these years since my blog days. And I'll help you find the right leaders to run your country. I'll help you rebuild with the help of my First Nations people. We'll show you how to survive what you're just about to come out of, because we're used to it. We're used to having to fight for survival in an ever-changing world. So we're the perfect people to show you how to survive your rebirth after after Lucifer is taken down, and it's happening as we speak. The fact that he's losing his mind and his affairs are being exposed, and he's been called out for the Epstein thing, and everyone knows that. He's responsible for the destruction of the British economy and all of that now. It's all coming out. So now he's about to hit the ground with a thud, heard around the world. And then you can feast on him. You'll be able to swan on him and his administration and feed on them, just like in my Buffalo Stampede dream. Him, Musk, Gates, Teal, Allison, all of them. It all gets torn down, and you go back to how it was before, but better. You're not going to make America great again. You're going to make it better, better than it's ever been, better than it ever was. Because you get to hit the reset button, and then all the countries around the world will follow suit by, because you'll lead by example. Okay, so I'm going to go and stuff my face now because I'm starving. Have a beautiful day, and I'll let you know what my son says when he tries that sauce. I'm so excited. I can't believe he said that my chicken pies were like from the bakeries in Scotland. That's probably like, even beyond him saying that the stuff I made was gorgeous, my stew and that was gorgeous. Um, to say that my pies are like the ones from Scotland is the biggest compliment I could ever be given. I'm so glad I took the chance and had a go, because now I know they're worthy to sell in my bakery and on the menu at my pub with mash and stuff. I'm going to introduce America to a new culture of food that is healthy for them, that's better options than going to a lot of the places they're going to now. And their bodies will heal as they eat it, because it's all alchemical food. So have a beautiful day, and just get ready, America, because your president is about to be removed from power, and his whole administration is about to be torn down, as is the British one. The people of Great Britain are about to get an election, and Labour will never run the country again. They've sealed their fate. By blaming Russia for everything, they've sealed their fate. By threatening to remove the king from power and take all his money, they've sealed their fate. So have a beautiful day, because I know I am. The storms are coming in, so get ready. And just remember, all these floods and earthquakes and that are happening around the world is not an act of God or Papatuanuku, it's man-made. It's everything I said. But God knew it was coming. He saw what they were going to do. It's in the book of Revelation. Take care. I love you. See you in Alaska.